Peace and love, Ashe, Namaste. Welcome back to another occult healing session. Hope you guys are doing well in this quarantine. All right, so I'm gonna try to make this video as quick as possible. All right, I want to talk about the truth or the secrets about nature spirits. Hopefully you guys can hear me. My mic has been acting up a lot lately. So I want to talk about the truth of nature spirits. Okay, first of all, let's speak on nature for a moment, because what you tend to have is individuals, especially spiritual individuals, that think what you see right now is only nature, right? So that means if you're in the forest or in the trees, I'm in my backyard. I'm thankful to be able to have a nice, peaceful backyard like this, right? So we tend to think that this is only nature, right? Not understanding alchemy and how that works. So what do I mean? And this is what I mean about thinking from here, because with your eyes, right? Your eyes see a separation in things. So as soon as there's some kind of change, you see it as something that's different from the original form. Okay, so I'll give you an example, like, again, a tree, and then maybe a house that you made out of trees. So when you're solely seeing from the two physical eyes, you see this tree, but then you look at a house and you say there's a difference. But what you don't understand is alchemy, is when you transmute things. So with that logic, okay, I'm gonna give some examples of why this logic it doesn't make any sense. Or if you do believe in this true logic, why you shouldn't be partaking in certain things if you don't like anything but the original form of things. So let's just talk about tonics, right? Like herbal tonics and stuff like that. Technically, that's created by man, right? Because you're changing the form into something else. So technically that would be considered bad for the people that are like, you can only be in nature, buildings are bad, all these blah, 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 right? Also, let's talk about juicing, right? If you have a juicer, a machine, and you're taking vegetables and putting it in a juicer and then transmuting it to juice, that will be modifying the original form, okay? Also, if you subscribe to the out of Africa theory, I'm not saying that it's true or not true. I'm not saying that I believe in it or not, but I'm just saying there's a lot of people that subscribe to the out of Africa theory. If you don't know what the out of Africa theory is, I suggest that you look it up, because then it'll make sense what I'm about to say. Because any kind of evolution or change within human beings would be bad then, right? So that means that any person that's not dark skinned will be considered wrong, according to the logic of this thing of you can only have things in its original form. The thing is, we have to get deeper. Again, you have to look from here. As I said before, with your eyes, you see separation. Remember, these buildings, these elements, things like this, a cell phone, right? What are they all made of? They're made from the natural elements. Everything is made from the four elements: fire, earth, air, and water. So that means it is still nature. Just because somebody transmuted it, alchemy, changed it into a different format, doesn't mean it doesn't represent the same thing. You see, I just want you guys to think before I get into the truth of nature spirits. Because here's the truth, and the secret is that nature spirits are always around you. Okay? Of course, It is good to get back into nature in its purest form, in its original form, like right now. But that's for this, the sake of, just getting away from the fast paced things. Because obviously it's a different form of nature. It's more fast paced. So I'm talking about, like, let's just say the city. It's a more fast paced, different part of nature. It's still nature, guys. Because I know we have people out here that are telling you to get back to nature like you're not in nature. Like this whole thing isn't nature. Okay? This whole thing, again, look from here. Because if you're looking from here, you know that everything is created from the same elements. Everything is nature. Everything is the matrix. Okay? So, these nature spirits or God, because spirits are spirits. All right, these are entities that are in another dimension but still connected to us. So when somebody says, I'm talking to the spirits or I'm talking to God, what they're really saying is they're communicating with entities because they're at a higher frequency themselves. They're communicating with these entities somehow. But remember that communication with entities is not the way we think it is. We think that we're going to hear a spirit just talking to us. Remember, they speak through the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind does not communicate with verbal language. It communicates with symbolism. So let's just pretend that you're dealing with your ancestors, right? Your ancestors will answer your questions and reveal things to you through nature itself. That means the elements within the world. So that means things that happen to you or things that you see through symbolism is how you'll receive these messages. As simple as that. Okay, so when somebody says they're talking to God or they're talking to spirits, if they are somebody of truth, what they really mean is that, again, these spirits are communicating with them through symbolism. Okay, but I want to touch upon something, because a lot of people always ask me, well, how do I get in contact with the spirits? Okay, which is very, very simple. There's this two-step format. First of all, again, like I always say, this is why I say that your astrology chart is your map. It's your map for the whole matrix, for you. This is why I say you need a real astrology chart reading. And that means, what I mean by really real astrology chart reading is that you're going to need everything. And that includes your rulerships. In this case, we're talking about your ruling element. Because here's the secret, guys, that you communicate through the spirits to the spirit. You communicate with the spirits through elements. If I just told you that everything in this existence is ruled by an element, right? That would only make sense. So you've heard of the stories. Let's just talk about the Jesus story. Specifically the Moses story, when he communicated with God through a burning bush, fire. Or let's just say Buddha found God, so-called God, right? By meditating under a tree. That sounds like earth to me, right? Here's the thing. You have the biggest connection with your ruling element. That's why it's called your ruling element. So that is the easiest way for you to communicate with spirits. Okay? So again, if you're ruled by earth, you communicate through trees. That's the easiest way. You can also communicate through plants as well. So you might hear people saying that they communicate with their plants that they grow in their house, or, they're gardening and stuff like that. They communicate. That means they're most likely more connected to the earth element or fire. Again, let's just say somebody, is meditating in front of a bonfire or a candle light, and they seem to always connect more with the spirits that way. They're most likely ruled by fire. Same thing with water. Okay, the best place, like you might have heard certain sailors, right? Sailors, they say they would communicate with spirits when they were sailing. They were most likely ruled by water. That's why they were so attracted to the ocean. You see what I'm saying? Or wind as well. You can communicate through the wind. These are people that are ruled by air. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm getting at? So knowing your ruling element, this is why, again, like I tell you guys all the time, you need a real astrology reading. If you want an astrology reading, remember, you can get one from me, occulthealing22@gmail.com. The email's in the description of this video. Okay? The email's in the description of this video. I'll send you my prices for all my services. Okay? Just send me an email and, I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Now, here's the thing. Because you might say, all right, I know my ruling element. I know that I'm going to start connecting, with the spirits through my element. So, do I start meditating on this? And that's true. Yeah, that's very true. You start meditating. Again, with the tree. You see what I'm saying? You get into a meditative state. Put your hand on the tree for all my earth element people. Meditate in front of the fire for all my fire element people. Of course, the best place is an ocean or a river for my water element people. But if you can, obviously, you can, get a bowl of water, put sea salt in it or something like that and meditate in front of that. For my wind people, you might want to meditate in front of an open window. And here's the thing. Remember, like I said, the spirits can communicate to you through symbolism. So you can tap into using the tarot cards to receive these messages instead of waiting for all these things that happen in real life. The tarot cards are kind of like a cheat code. That's why they were created. I mean, it's a whole different, a whole long story on the tarot cards, the history of the tarot cards. Okay, but I'm just letting you know. Okay, so after you're done meditating, or you've been meditating for a couple of days, you've been focusing on this element for a couple of days, you can catch your message with the tarot cards. Okay, so that means you can get a tarot card reading from somebody else, or you can catch, if you have your own tarot cards, you can pick the cards yourself. Now, again, this video is not going to be about how to read symbolism because that's way, way too deep. That's like a whole hour lecture. But the best way, like I tell my students in the magic coaching class, the best way to learn symbolism is to practice. So that means practice decoding your own dreams, right? And practice decoding any kind of symbolism in reality. And you might be saying, well, how do I do that? What's the basis? How do I study? You got to trust your intuition. You got to start tapping into your intuition. All my magic coaching session students, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay. So let's just say you've been meditating for a while. You want to catch those messages with the tarot cards. Or again, you can wait and pay attention to your reality. Obviously, it's going to take a lot longer because when you're using this medium, the tarot cards, they are very, very specific. That's why I tell you got to use certain decks. For anybody that's new, if you're new, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell button. Make sure you hit that bell button so you can get these updates. But what I'm saying is, if like I was saying, I'm sorry, I got distracted. If you are new, I tell people the top decks to use are the Rider-Waite deck, the Aleister Crowley deck, which is called the Thoth deck, and the Builders of the Ataman deck. I know I'm probably saying Builders of the Ataman wrong, but it is what it is. If you guys look it up, you probably will be able to find it. So what you would do is simple as that. You would shuffle your deck and then take a few cards out and catch the message. All right. Again, you got to know symbolism. That's why, again, here we go. If you guys have trouble with learning symbolism and, you need somebody else to do it for you, you can also contact me for a reading, a tarot card reading. I'll catch the symbolism for you. But you got to let me know that that's what you're trying to do. Say, I've been focusing on my spirits and I want to catch the messages from my spirits. And I'll specifically do the reading for you according to that. Okay, so that means work with your element for a little while, which basically means just meditate in front of your element and really focus on your element. And then contact me at occulthealing22@gmail.com. The email's in the description for a tarot card reading, and I'll catch the messages for you. Okay, like I said, there is the other way where you can let nature do its thing for you. So that means you got to be out and about in the world, though. Yes, symbolism can happen to you snuggled up in your own house, but I'm telling you, when you go and move about in the world, you see the abundance of symbolism. Okay, and you'll be able to catch that message faster. But of course, the fastest way is with the tarot cards. All right. So if you guys want any of my services, make sure you contact me at occulthealing22@gmail.com. The email's in the description of this video. Other than that, guys, I just wanted to give you something to think about. Don't get confused with these other people about the separations. There is no separation. See from here. Everything that you see in this world is made up of all these elements. It's just things are changed. And of course, you have things in their original form, but we're alchemists. That's what separates. Well, I don't want to say separate now, but that's what makes us different from other organisms here, is because we have the cognitive function to be able to transmute things. We are alchemists. I already told you that the woman is the greatest alchemist for other reasons, and the man is more of a magician or musician. But don't get confused. Again, remember, and you don't want to go around preaching to people. Let people believe in what they want to believe in. I'm just telling you because obviously you're on this frequency to catch this message. Remember, we're walking the middle path. We don't go around preaching to people and telling them that their beliefs are wrong and that you're right and you're the almighty. You walk in your path. You walk in your journey. And the people that need to hear the message will ask for it. And that also doesn't mean that you shun people that are not like you and don't think like you. Like I say, what happened with any kind of prophet and any kind of scripture or any kind of ancient story, they would find themselves and then they would go amongst the people and start changing lives. And it doesn't matter who the people were. You see what I mean? They didn't always believe in what they believed in, but they changed lives. And that's what you're here to do. OK, obviously, I am here to be your guide as well. And you can contact me to help you. Again, this is what my services is for. Obviously, there has to be an equal exchange. So, of course, it's like a business transaction. But that's just life, period. It's an equal exchange. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. So that means anything you put your effort into it, you should be paid some kind of way, whether it's money or another service. There has to be an exchange. All right. I got somebody's dog barking all crazy. So I'm going to leave you in peace. Namaste. Ashe. You should already know how many loves it is. It's one love. Thank you.